Hey guys, welcome back to Critical Flick. Today I'll be reviewing Do Revenge, now streaming on Netflix. So Do Revenge is a dark comedy that stars Camila Mendes and Hawke. And I have to say, when I first saw, kind of the marketing for this movie, and I didn't know what it was going to be, I was worried it was going to be like another cheesy, like teen movie that we've seen before from Netflix. But this movie was like a real pleasant surprise. In this movie, we have Camila Mendes, who plays Drea, who was the former like queen of the school. She was the popular girl, and then Hawke shows up, and she's kind of this girl who's been treated poorly in the past, and she wants to get revenge on someone who wronged her previously. That, her and Camila work together. Camila's kind of wronged by someone in her past, and they come together with this plan to help one another kind of stop each other's enemies and go after them. So it's a premise that we've seen before. This movie has a ton of twists and turns. One of the first things I actually have to say about this movie is that the performances were really good across the board. I think that Camila Mendes was good in her role, but I really feel like Hawke really took on this one. She was fantastic. I think it's the best role that I've seen her in. Now, I haven't seen her in a ton. I know her mostly from Stranger Things, which I think she's really good in as well, but I love this movie. It gives her a chance to really do that mask on, mask off character, someone who's playing one role and then playing a completely different role in the same movie, and I think she just really eats it up on screen, and I can't say enough about how much I liked her performance in this movie. Austin Abrams plays Max in this movie, he's like not a good guy. He's basically the bad guy. He's a pompous, rich guy who gets away with everything. He's very unlikable. And I think he does a great job of playing that character. You just really despise this person. You want to be taken down a peg. And his character really shows as a satirical representation of people like that. People that are trying to project themselves as being really good, trying to be, the righteous person. A lot of virtue signaling going on in this movie. So there's a lot to be taken away from it in the messaging in this movie. Not just a fun kind of revenge story with a lot of twists and turns, but it has a lot to say in society in a way that I think isn't really preachy. It's not in your face. You feel like sometimes when you watch really heavy movies that want to take on society and they want to take on the problems that we have, it can come across disingenuous. But in this one, I think it's so clever and well written that it just hits on all the cylinders. Production design is really good in this one as well. I think in particular there's some scenes with some big parties, like in the third act of the film, where it looks really good. The costuming is really good. It's this very posh and affluent atmosphere that's going on. It's always difficult to pull that off and not look really cheesy. I feel like this movie does a good job of kind of integrating a lot of color and a lot of pop to it to keep it interesting, but then have these dark undertones to it. So I like that blend of kind of this bright and airy atmosphere of these very wealthy and well-off people juxtaposed to kind of the negative, real personal things going on beneath the surface. Like I said, the casting is really good. The acting is really good. There's a ton of people in this movie. They throw in a lot of really recognizable and up-and-coming actors and actresses. You even get to see Sarah Michelle Gellar pop up as the headmistress of their high school, and I think she does a decent job in that cameo role. But I think that everyone who was given enough screen time to act did a good job in their roles. They all had really good chemistry, particularly between the two leads. I feel like Hawke and Camila Mendes really felt like genuine friends in this movie, and then the kind of the twists and turns that happen between them, it builds their relationship even more. So I did feel like the story was written well enough that you're very invested in these characters. They feel real and they feel like they're connected in a real way. The one kind of negative I do have is while the writing is really sharp and it's really well put together, the movie it progresses very quickly. There's a lot of twists and turns that are happening along the way. The movie is, I believe, just under 2 hours long. It never feels slow. It's very quick, almost too quick in its pacing. You're kind of jumping between all these characters that are like the relationships with one another. It almost feels like it could have been a series. I don't think it's bad by any means, but I feel like we could have lived with these characters longer. I feel like we could have had this been, a 6-part miniseries, but I think it works really well as a film. It's only a minor knock. I think overall it's still really solid. So if I were to rate Do Revenge, I would actually give it an 8.5 out of 10. I really liked it. I didn't know, like I said, what to expect going into it. I was very pleasantly surprised. I think the acting is good. I think the production's good. I think the direction and the writing are really solid. I just think the idea of mixing these kind of Mean Girls meets Ingrid Goes West meets, some other darker films, it all comes together in a way that is really interesting. It's really compelling. It's a twist on kind of a classic story of two kind of outcasts coming together to take down the system. So I think it's really fun. I think the twist works well. So let me know if you checked out Do Revenge. What did you think about it? Did you enjoy as much as I did? How do you feel about, the twists and turns? Do you think it works? So leave those comments down below. Remember to like and subscribe, and see you guys next time.